Thank you. Councillor Outhitt.
Mayor, thank you, Mayor. I noticed Councillor Smith has rung in as well, so he might want to bring this forward. But a couple of folks mentioned 14A and tightening up the language a little. So I wanted to first get staff's opinion on whether they thought that would be helpful. And secondly, speaking of the solicitor, I know he doesn't like us making changes to things during public hearings, but is this the kind of, we're not knocking stories off buildings here or whatever, but could this be considered friendly or an amendment if we wanted to put in something such as must demonstrate? Is that wouldn't change substantively what we're debating here tonight, would it? So that would be in order? I'm leading you.
John.
This is not a good time to make changes. I'd want to talk to Kelly Denny and understand more just what that opens up in terms of potential litigation, et cetera. Kelly?
Okay.
Or do you want to go off?
Kelly's coming up.
I think it's something we need to address, and several people mentioned it, so thank you, John.
Through the mayor to the councillor, I think maybe it would help if I talked a little bit through, but what that would mean.
Sure.
The way that the amendment is written now, it says shall consider the priorities plan. So it, obligates council to consider them when they come forward. Those priority plans all have many, many actions in them. The Green Network Plan has, I think, 79. The IMP has more than 100. And they all have different levels of work involved. Some of them are actively used as guidance on projects currently. Some of them require us to do a bit more work to figure out how the regulations apply on the ground. So we are always using the priorities plans for plan amendment applications. So anything that comes forward to council that's an amendment to a plan, we would always be using the lens of those priority plans already. And the difference with, this is making clear that we do that. It was a standard practice, but is making it clear that we do that. Yeah. And the amendment also speaks to development agreements and land use bylaws. So that'll be, us working with our planners who work on development applications to sort of help them work through how these different priority plans will be considered. And that's going to be different for every application. And also, I had another thought, and it's left my head.
Somebody yelled
Someone
phase
said
4
phase
from
4,
the
which is
crowd.
a good point. It is a bit of an interim
Might have been
stage.
Kate.
We're going to be doing a lot of the implementation work and bringing forward like the regulatory aspects in phase 4. This is to make sure that in that interim phase, like for now, for the next number of months, we will have those things kind of in front of you at council, and we'll work with planners to, as some of the speakers had asked for, demonstrate in their staff reports so that council can kind of understand.
So that might procedurally be sort of outlined in phase 4 then, how that, to show that would happen then.
Yeah, and in the interim, any staff reports that are coming to council for various planning applications would say, we've reviewed the Green Network Plan, this application against the Green Network Plan, here are the relevant pieces to it, and here is how we've dealt with it.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't know if Kelly wants to speak or not, but thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
Kelly, you good?
I'm just going to say Leah covered everything that I was going to cover, so you don't even need me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Councillor Outhitt, for jumping ahead of me and getting on the same track, which is not a problem. So my suggestion was going to be either of supplemental or coming in phase 4, but as just indicated. So I'm just wondering if, because that's been noted, do we need to, is it just in the minutes and that will be captured, or should there be a motion to come from council knowing that's of our interest on specific policy? What's the best approach here? Staff mentioned it on the record, so I'm wondering if that's enough for us to know that that's coming in phase 4.
So the lawyer noticed Kate Green nodding, and I think Ms. Perrin has outlined similar. So I think that we can look for this to be acknowledged in a future phase.
Okay, so nods are legally binding now. All right, good to know. Thank you.
Save that video.
Nods are gratefully accepted. Councillor Purdy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you.